If you're thinking about moving to Kansas City, the next 15 minutes could change where you decide to live. Because in the last 24 hours alone, there have been 10 major developments across the metro that are reshaping neighborhoods, property values, and what life actually looks like when you get here. I'm Austin New, and this is Guide to Moving to Kansas City, the channel that helps you relocate to Kansas City without expensive surprises. Today we're covering a $10 billion data center announcement, new restaurants and adventure parks opening, neighborhoods transforming overnight, and why all this matters if you're trying to figure out where to actually buy a house. Some of these are Missouri side, some are Kansas side, but they all affect the entire metro, and I'll teach you which ones you should actually care about if you're moving here. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. The channel is built specifically to help people relocate to and within Kansas City with real information, not national hype. Let's do it. Let's start with the biggest news first, because this one's going to ripple across the entire Northland for the next decade. Google just confirmed a $10 billion data center project in the Northland. This isn't a rumor anymore, this is financial commitment. We're talking thousands of indirect jobs, construction, tech support, logistics, infrastructure. Why does this matter if you're moving to Kansas City? More jobs equals more housing demand, and that demand is going to hit Platte County and Clay County hard. We're already seeing developers eyeing new subdivisions. Home values in areas like Parkville, Smithville, and even Liberty could see upward pressure based on increased demand, though no one can guarantee future appreciation. Right now, median home prices in Platte County are sitting around $310,000 to $330,000, depending on the specific city. That's still affordable compared to Johnson County, which is closer to $400,000 and up. But with Google coming in, that affordability gap could start to close. If you're thinking about buying in the Northland and this kind of job growth aligns with your timeline, it's worth evaluating sooner rather than later. But timing should always be based on your personal situation, not speculation about future pricing. If you're relocating for work or want to be near this kind of growth, the Northland is worth serious consideration. I can help you pick the right pocket within it. And the Northland boom isn't just about jobs. It's about lifestyle upgrades too. Metro North Crossing just added new restaurants and an adventure park. More shopping, more dining, more things to do without driving 30 minutes south. Amenities drive demand. 5 years ago, people moved Northland for affordability and space. Now they're moving there because it's becoming a legitimate lifestyle destination with everything you need close by. If you're a family looking for new construction, good schools, and actual things to do on weekends without sitting in traffic, the Northland is becoming one of the best bets in the metro. Would you move to the Northland with all this coming? Drop a comment and let me know. All right, let's shift south and talk about what's happening in the urban core. Because if you're someone who wants walkability, nightlife, and that city vibe, these are the neighborhoods you need to know about. East Crossroads is changing so fast that if you haven't been there in 6 months, you would not recognize it. More mixed-use projects just got announced. Breweries and restaurants are expanding. The walkability is improving every month. This is one of Kansas City's hottest move-to neighborhoods right now. East Crossroads is where young professionals, remote workers, and creatives are landing when they move to Kansas City. It's got the energy, the food scene, and the proximity to downtown without being right in the middle of it. Condos and lofts in East Crossroads are running anywhere from $250,000 to $450,000 depending on size and finishes. Rentals are tight. If a good unit hits the market, it's gone in days. If you're moving to Kansas City and want urban life without the Chicago or Denver price tag, this is it. But you need to move fast because inventory is limited and demand is high. And if East Crossroads is too polished for you, you should look into West Bottoms. Another residential project just moved forward in the West Bottoms. More loft conversions, more new builds, more retail and food options are coming in. The West Bottoms is Kansas City's gritty, industrial, chic neighborhood. Think exposed brick, high ceilings, and a vibe that feels more Brooklyn than Kansas City. It's perfect for renters and buyers who want character over cookie cutter. Lofts in the West Bottoms are typically $200,000 to $350,000. Rentals are popular with younger buyers and remote workers who want something unique. It's a very busy area. The flood risk used to scare people away, but most of the new construction is elevated and flood-proofed. It's way less of an issue than it was 10, 15 years ago. Would you live in the West Bottoms, or does it not sound good to you? Drop a comment and let me know. And here's why both of those neighborhoods are about to get even hotter. The Kansas City Streetcar Extension just hit a major construction milestone this week. New track sections are completed, and the line is getting closer to connecting UMKC all the way downtown. Why does this matter for homebuyers? Data suggests homes near streetcar stops have historically shown stronger appreciation than comparable homes further away, though past performance does not guarantee future success. It's not just about transit, it's about walkability, foot traffic, and development following the line. There's more to come. If you're buying near a future streetcar stop right now, you're buying before the full impact of increased walkability and transit access is reflected in pricing. Whether that translates to appreciation depends on many factors, but it's worth considering. I always tell clients, if you're on the fence between two similar homes and one is near the streetcar route, consider the lifestyle and convenience benefits. Walkability and transit access tend to hold value well, but I obviously can't guarantee future appreciation. Would you pay more to live near the streetcar? Let me know in the comments. Now let's talk about one of Kansas City's most underrated rental markets and why it's about to get even tighter. More apartments are coming near KU Med, and here's why that matters. Developers just announced new multifamily projects targeting medical staff, students, and young professionals working in the KU Med corridor. KU Med is one of Kansas City's biggest employers, and housing near the campus has always been tight. These new projects could ease some rental pressure in Midtown and Volker, but they also signal long-term investment in the 39th Street corridor. If you're moving to Kansas City for a medical job or grad school, this area could be gold. Rentals near KU Med run $1,200 to $1,800 per month for a 1 to 2 bedroom, depending on the building. If you're buying in either of these areas, expect $250,000 to $400,000 for older houses with amazing character. High demand, low turnover, and consistent results. That is this area. Is this area Kansas City's most underrated rental market? I think so. Let me know if you disagree. All right, let's hop over to the Kansas side for a minute, because even though I'm mostly in the Jackson County, Missouri side, what happens in Johnson County and Wyandotte County still affects the whole metro. There's a development fight happening in Lenexa right now that could reshape how Johnson County grows. Neighbors are pushing back hard on a proposed development on parkland. They want to protect green space even if it slows suburban expansion. This could influence future zoning decisions across JOCO. Buyers looking for walkability and green space are watching this closely, because if Johnson County starts prioritizing parks over development, that changes the vibe of future neighborhoods. I don't work in Kansas, so I can't give you specific buying advice for Johnson County, but as a market observer, I can tell you that JOCO has historically been about newer homes and good schools. If green space protection becomes a priority there, that could appeal to buyers who want suburban life with more parks and walkability. I'd recommend connecting with a Kansas licensed agent who knows the neighborhoods well. If you need a referral, let me know in the comments and I can help you out. Meanwhile, Wyandotte County is quietly becoming a relocation magnet. New mixed-use projects just got announced near Village West and the Legends. More housing, more retail, more amenities. Wyandotte used to be the budget option for buyers who couldn't afford Johnson County. Now it's becoming a legitimate lifestyle destination with newer homes under $400,000 and way more to do. Not to mention a possible Chiefs stadium. Again, I don't work Kansas side, so I can't advise on specific neighborhoods there, but from a market perspective, Wyandotte has seen significant development with newer construction under $400,000 and growing amenities. If you're considering the Kansas side, I'm happy to refer you to a trusted agent who specializes there. Is Wyandotte the next big growth area? Drop your take in the comments. All right, last two topics, and these are both about lifestyle and what's coming in the next year that's going to change how Kansas City feels. Kansas City homeowners are prepping their houses for World Cup rentals, and it's about to shake up the market temporarily. There's been a surge in short-term rental applications. Homeowners near downtown, near the stadiums, and the Riverfront are planning to rent their homes out during the World Cup for premium rates. This could tighten long-term rental supply this summer. If you're looking for a rental in June 2026, you might have fewer options because landlords are pivoting to short-term. But if you own a home near downtown or CPKC Stadium, this is a huge opportunity for you. Nightly rates during the World Cup are expected to hit anywhere from $400 to $1,000 a night and up. If you're buying a home in Kansas City and you're thinking about short-term rental potential, proximity to downtown, the Riverfront, or the Stadium District is key. Even outside the World Cup, those areas have solid short-term rental demand year-round. If a short-term rental for the World Cup is something you've considered, drop a comment and I will help you out in any way that I can. And finally, let's talk about the airport, because this actually matters more than people think. KCI is adding new restaurants and amenities, more local food options, more convenience, better traveler experience overall. Why does this matter for relocation? Airport quality is a real factor when people choose where to move, especially remote workers and business travelers. A good airport makes Kansas City feel more connected and less isolated. And honestly, the new KCI terminal is light years better than the old one. It makes travel way easier, and that's a selling point when you're trying to convince someone to move to the Midwest. I always tell remote worker clients, if you fly a lot, proximity to KCI matters. That's a huge quality of life boost. All right, those are the major developments in Kansas City in the last couple of days. Here's what you need to remember. The Northland is booming with Google and Metro North crossing. The Kansas side is growing with Lenexa and Village West, and the World Cup Plus airport upgrades are making Kansas City feel bigger and more connected. If you're moving to Kansas City, the neighborhoods that matter the most are the ones investing in infrastructure, amenities, and walkability. If you're thinking about relocating to Kansas City, my info is in my profile. I help people move here every week, and I will give it to you straight. No fluff, no hype. This is Guide to Moving to Kansas City, and I'm Austin New. See you in the next one.